Welcome to The Sear Show. Join us as we dive into the dynamic world of health, wellness, mindset, and fitness.
Hey, guess what? We're not at the Sear Show. So Jose just joining us. I'm going to change all that. It should have changed it, but it didn't. And
Yeah, the logo still
so
says The Sear Show.
I know it should be Heroes Rising. So I have to come out and come back in. Hello, Jose. Give me a second. I'm going to come out. We're live anyway, so I'm going to come out and it'll fix it. Okay, I'll be right back. You guys talk. I'll be right
All right,
back.
we'll talk amongst ourselves. Jose, you got a big event tomorrow, as I can speak in a New York accent.
New York, yes. Not in New York, but yes, it's the Connected Leaders Academy virtual conference number 9. It's called Legacy. Very excited about it. 25 global speakers. Our keynote is Dan Sikowski, and it's just going to be an awesome event. Very excited about it. 10 to 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. www.connectedleadersacademybc.com. That's how you can get tickets. So, yes, to answer your question.
Woo!
Hey, Sifu.
I'll be skiing
I
tomorrow.
haven't seen you guys in a while.
Very nice. And good to see you, Maria. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in a little bit.
I know. Good to see you too.
Okay.
Well, good stuff. So the topic today is leaders choose transformation. Thoughts?
They do.
If they're a good leader.
Well, I'll give you my thoughts on that. I didn't really choose it. It chose me, but that's a different story.
Yeah, that's possible. I would agree, Maria. Not everybody chooses to step up to transformation and the leadership involved in that. And sometimes you kind of fall into it. I would agree that that's a possibility. I have chosen the transformation because, I understand that that's in order to create global impact, in order to change lives, in order to, raise a family the way I'm raising, I have 6 kids, and to be a good husband and all the things requires high level leadership. But leadership is only possible if you are intentionally in the journey of transformation, right? We're looking to improve. We're looking to become better. I always say personal development is not a default thing. It's an intentional thing. You have to choose to want to grow personally and professionally. So, and sometimes it's not on our radar and it just kind of hits us like boom. So yeah, good point, Maria.
Thank you.
So do me a favor, at one point to another, Maria, you can put in the private chat, put your the way that we can connect you with people who may be interested in connecting with you. And I think that Jacqueline is breakdancing because I see spinning on her thing. So
I think she went skiing too early. She went skiing too early. I thought you said tomorrow, Jacqueline.
Yeah. Wow, leadership, right? When we think about leadership, I think transformation is just part of the journey, because you cannot be a leader without taking others with you. And I think that's where the real leadership comes, when we take others with us. We thought you went skiing, but
No, I think it's so we had snow the last few days here in Reno, and unfortunately I lost internet. So now I had to put it up towards my cell phone. So anyway,
happy to have you back.
So
Jose will always tell you, leaders find a way, or winners find a way to win. And therefore, you're a leader and you're a winner.
Well, sometimes I think the biggest thing about leaders choose transformation, I think you can take out the word, if you take out the word leader, because not everybody will consider themselves a leader. It's like not everybody considers themselves a salesperson, but each and every one of us is a leader in our own right? So we have to lead ourselves no matter what we're doing. And so maybe the word leader doesn't fit for you, but you're a person who, each and every one of us can choose transformation, whether we're transforming ourselves or others. That's our choice. But the word leader, sometimes I think gets people hung up.
Yeah, there are words out there that people use that people get hung up on that word, and they don't and they can't get around it. They don't go to the bigger picture, like what am I really trying to say here? And they're like, oh no, it's just a leader thing, or it's a sales thing, you know. So just hung up on the word, and words are words, but what are we really trying to say with the word is the question.
Right. Yeah. And I think each and every one of us has something in us that we can actually, each and every one of us really can make the choice to do something that is going to have an impact on ourselves and on other people, so that maybe we can help them make some type of change in their lives, or to make somebody a little bit better than they were before.
Yeah, I love that. When we think about transformation, if you can think about change, because that's what transformation truly is, it's change.
Mhm.
And so many people are afraid of change, but we are changing every day, whether we like it or not. Your body regenerates itself so that every 10 years you're in a new body. I know that's kind of hard to understand. Like, wait a minute, this is who I was. No, take a picture. Take a physical picture that you took 10 years ago. Take one today. Everybody, we're going to take a picture. Ready? 10 years from now, you will be somebody else, whether you like it or not. Maybe you'll have gray hair. Maybe you'll have a wrinkle. Maybe you got Botox. I don't know. But you will be definitely different. So change is part of transformation,
Mhm.
right? A butterfly did not choose to transform. It just happened and it became a butterfly.
Yeah.
And we all are becoming something. The question that I have is, how do you change to become the best version of you if you're not taking actions today? Let's talk about that if you don't mind. What are the actions that leaders or anybody, because if you don't see yourself as a leader, stop for a minute and take a look. Because if you woke up this morning and you got out of bed, you led yourself out of bed. Nobody came and dragged you out. If you brushed your teeth, that was leadership right there. So everything that we're doing every single day, when we take action for ourselves, we're leaders to ourselves. Can we lead other people? That's debatable. Some people cannot lead other people, and we don't want you to, right? So at least lead yourself. So we are all leaders. So what must we do to transform to the person that we truly want to be?
See, for that example of the butterfly, that really landed for me, right? Because I feel like
Clearly.
I'm in a bit of a metamorphosis as well. And yeah, I didn't choose it, it chose me. But I think to be a good leader, it starts with you. You have to lead yourself first. And then others can take inspiration from your journey, or at least that's been my experience.
I think
Yeah.
you have to also look inward, right? And you have to say, you know, who I am today, and what if I want to make a change, what do I want? What do I need to do? Like, who is that person that I want to become? Like each, whether it's each year you take an assessment as to where you are and where you want to become and become better, and so you need to start, with that reflection and introspection of yourself, right? Like, think of who you are, get clarity onto the person. And then once you know who that is, like once you decide what that, it could be one small little change, right? You can start making that steps into it. The butterfly, obviously what it starts off, it's going to have to start hanging someplace and start, that caterpillar is going to start having to spin. It has to do that step first before it can start making the change. So what are you doing to start making that spin, to make the thread, to make the change? Right? It has to think about landing someplace. It can't just do it on the side of the road, right? It's got to find a place to land. So how are you thinking about the change that you want to take, and what steps do you want to take? But it has to become clear with the change that you want to have happen.
So I want to piggyback on what Sifu said. Great, Jacqueline, and Maria. I also like that butterfly example. It's very accurate. So I can say, based on what you said, Sifu, you said, so what are some of the decisions and things that leaders do to transform and to get to their next level versus somebody who's maybe intentionally not choosing that? I can tell you a couple of examples, right? Number one is a morning routine. A leader that wants to transform personally and professionally and impact more lives is going to decide to wake up early. They're going to decide, and early is contingent upon everyone in their own way, right? So early for one person could be 6 a.m. For somebody else, it's 3:30 a.m. like you, Sifu. Okay, so it's different for everybody, right? For me, it's 4 a.m. 4 to 7 is a strong morning routine, Monday through Friday at least, and then the evening routine. That's something that somebody intentionally chooses to do to go to another level that most people are not going to choose, right? Perhaps it's working out every day, in some capacity, moving your body. Working out doesn't have to be going to the gym for 2 hours and screaming your lungs out when you're lifting, 800 pounds. It doesn't have to be what people perceive it to be. It could be going for a daily walk in your neighborhood. It could be doing a yoga class. It could be going on YouTube like my wife does and watches a lady work out with some dumbbells that she got on Amazon at home on her living room carpet, right? Bodyweight exercises. It's choosing to eat like this. Today I had sardines for lunch, right? I had this really nice sardine concoction. And some people would say, oh my gosh, there's so many more entertaining things you could be eating, Jose, so many more delicious things you could be eating. But that was a conscious health decision, right? Maybe it's for example, instead of on a Friday like today, instead of me going out to happy hour with some buddies and saying, hey, who wants to go hang out at a bar? Maybe I say, hey, let me be a leader to my children and go on a family walk with my children and instill and pour into them. And then afterwards say, hey, let's go play a board game at home, and then to do a family movie. Like, that's a conscious decision that a leader would do. And there's leadership on all levels. It's not just in business. So these are just a couple of examples, and I can give 1,000 examples like we all could of what we actually would do that's going to make the difference. And that's called discomfort. That's called the harder path. Anything worthwhile is uphill all the way, as John Maxwell says. So if you're coasting, you're roasting, right? If you are not feeling the pushback, you're not doing enough.
Mm-hmm.
If you're coasting, you're roasting.
I know, I love that. So, there was this, I actually wrote about it it's actually in my newsletter this week, but I love the saying, you can't spell challenge without change. Right? So think about the word challenge, and there's the word change in there. So if you take out the change, you don't have challenge.
Absolutely. What a powerful concept that we're all talking about, because it's choosing, right? We all have a choice. And it's just like when we say yes or we say no, that's a choice. When we say we're going to do something and we do it, it was by choice. When we say that we're going to do something and we don't do it, and we blame other people why we didn't do it, we actually chose not to do it. When we start blaming others, it's a choice to stay small. And when we take full ownership of it, right? And I'm saying that because, yes, I am reading this book, Jose, again, right? Extreme ownership. So when we think about what we choose every day, it impacts our tomorrows. If we choose fast food, if we choose to go hang out at the bar instead of hanging out with our family, it's going to impact our tomorrows. How will your children remember you? Yeah, dad or mom, they didn't spend that much time with us. But I see that their really good friends are always around. Impact. So how do we want to impact our tomorrows? It's by the choices we do every single day, right? Do I want to just chill and watch Netflix for hours, or do I want to be productive and maybe even learn something or do something, right? So it's everything. Do we work out or do we just sit on the couch? And going to the gym for 2 hours, that's not for me. I love working out, but I go to the gym and I do every day. I was there this morning with intention. I put my headphones on and I am actually listening to something that's going to impact me so I can impact others. So every day I live my life with intentions. And it's not because I'm trying to impress anybody. It's because I need to keep building me if I want to create something worthwhile for others to even want to be in the same room with. Enough about me. What do you guys think about me? That middle line, you guys know that.
Oh, that's funny.
So I was curious about something. I have a morning routine, but I was curious about what your morning routines look like. Because Jose, you mentioned getting up at 4, and then your routine is 3 hours long. So I was curious what all that entails.
Well, the quick Reader's Digest version for the sake of time, because there's a lot of meat and potatoes we could go into, but I would say prayer, breath work, looking at my schedule for the day, understanding who I'm talking to, what are the top priorities, the number one non-negotiable for the day, and the top 3 priorities, understanding what those are from the night before, which was my day was planned out the night before. And then, of course, reading. I put in reading time, put in some kind of physical activity, whatever that might be. Sometimes if I don't have time for the physical activity because my personal project time went longer, then I'll do it wherever I can, right? And again, physical activity could be anything. It could be going for a walk. It could be a couple of body weight push-ups, and just checking the box sometimes is the accountability piece, right? It doesn't have to be something aggressive. Let's see what else I do. I do affirmations, visualization. I also do personal project time. Personal project time is deep work, right? Like Cal Newport. I don't know if you ever read Cal Newport's book, Deep Work. It's a phenomenal book. It talks about uninterrupted, laser-focused time where you work in flow and just kind of get into some things. So I always have different projects that I'm working on, different event. Like tomorrow I have an event, as we all know, the virtual conference number 9 Legacy. And today's deep work was an hour. Normally it's about 30 minutes. Today was an hour because I had to focus on a whole bunch of things I'm doing towards that tomorrow. So my day is jam-packed. So that's just a couple of the things that I'm doing in my morning. And the evening routine has a couple of similar things and a couple different things that ultimately speak to each other. I call it the bookends of your day, because everybody talks about the morning routine, but you got to end your night the proper way too to have the morning effective.
Yeah. Jacqueline, I know you work out every morning, so you want to give us your morning routine?
Sure. So my morning routine, I will get up usually around 5 o'clock, and it is, within 15, 20 minutes, I'm working out. I am a big Peloton user, and I will work out for about an hour. And then I do spend time, reflecting on my day. I also look at, I have a reminder that always goes off to read my affirmation and take a look at just keeping me going as to and keeping me clear as to what my purpose is. And then usually it's some type of, listening as I'm getting ready, similar to you, Sifu. I'm listening to something that is either educational or impactful for me, so that, again, I can learn something. And then, my day will pretty much start at 8 o'clock with, meetings, but I'm always looking at those things that I've got going on. Again, where are the actions in my calendar based on my intentions and my goals that I've set for the year?
Love it. Love it. I'll share with you mine really quick also. So I don't know why I put an alarm, and I say this all the time because my intention was to get up around 4:30 today. It didn't happen. 3 o'clock was my calling. So at 3 o'clock, I was like, okay, I'm up. And I'm not the one that says, oh, I need coffee. Oh, when I'm up, I'm up. I can go dancing, running, and it doesn't matter. I am up because God said, get up, you're up. And so the minute I'm up, I don't procrastinate in bed. I get up, I go do my things. I was at the gym before 4. Yeah, I always work out about an hour. And one of the things that even this morning, I did wash my car before most people are up. I did go get gas. So I did all these different things. But also one of the things is I have a program. It's called it's a command program that it gives you a command every single day, right? It's 365 days a year, and it gives you a command. Go do something. Don't think about it. Don't overthink it. You don't have to plan it. There's no reason to fail. Just take care of this command. And so it's command your vessel. That's my program, right? And I can listen to it. It's 3 minutes, done. I know my command for the day. And then I can follow the day following it. And then, of course, I'm going to, first thing before, when I first open my eyes, first thing I do is pray, gratitude, go to the gym, come back home, shower, and then go run around and do stuff. But I'm always reading. I read the Bible. I read a book. I'm actually reading 2 books. So I showed you the Extreme Ownership, and then I'm also just picked this one up, Pursuit of God, right? And it's really interesting that my morning routine may stop there, because then I get into all the things, but I don't pick up my phone to see if I got any messages or anything like that. I can tap my phone and see if there's a message. And if it's somebody I want to reach out to and they're up at that time, I'll reach back out. If not, I will leave it alone. So my phone is not part of my morning routine, right? And it is when I put my headphones on because I'm going to listen to something, but that's it. I'm not looking at Facebook or anything like that. But then also my day, I have a middle day routine, because in the middle of the day, I'm checking how did I do? Is there something I missed? Did I not follow up? And then that's when I start to do all these things. And like Jose said, I also have a bookend at the night, because there's certain things I have to do so that I can challenge myself for tomorrow. Because if I'm not challenging myself, my day is going to be boring. So every day challenge.
Mhm.
What about you, Maria? Do you have one? Are you looking to implement one? Let's put it back on you.
I do have one. It's not as complex as yours, but what I do is usually at night, I will check my schedule for the following day. And then in the morning, when I wake up, and I'm not a very early riser because I host my classes in the evenings, like 8:30 p.m. So I do most of my best work at night, so I don't get up too early. But then when I do get up, first I read I don't know, it's like one page about my perfect everyday, which is basically how I want my day to flow. And then I think of 3 things I'm grateful for. Then I stop, set the timer for about 5 minutes, and then I check in with my body and see if I'm feeling any physical sensations. And then ask myself, is there any sadness, anger, or fear that is running coursing through my body? And I also do a breathing practice during this whole time. And then I listen to, I would say they're affirmations, but they're not really affirmations. They're more quantum questions. So instead of saying, I'm rich and good looking and everybody likes me, right? It would be like, why is it true that I am wealthy and abundant and friends with everyone? So why is it true that it just lands for me better? It's not like, oh, Maria, you're lying to yourself because you're not rich yet. So when I say, why is it true? It's a little bit different for me.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I actually have a thought that just hit me as you were talking, Maria. Not sure exactly where that connects with your dot, but it just was something you said just sparked a thought, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, since we're talking about transformation and we're talking about the importance of taking very clear intentional action to improve, because that's what transformation requires, right? Change is inevitable. So we're all going to change, good or bad. In some cases, we decay in the opposite direction, right? But transformation with the positive intent usually requires you to do things to attain that transformative new version of yourself. And I can tell you one way I gauge it is I ask myself, if I start to feel lazy, right? If I start to feel lazy, usually it's because the behaviors I've been doing are lazy behaviors, and laziness begets more laziness, right? So as soon as you get comfortable, you start to, all the things you do after that are seeking comfort, and you start to get into this comfort zone, right? So I'll give you an example. I have this very lofty, fluffy, lazy boy chair, and they call it lazy boy chair for a reason, right? It's black leather. It reclines. It has, you can put the feet up. It's so fluffy. I sink into it, and I have it in we call it the train room, because the kids have like a plane set, but it's really like another kind of family room that has a fireplace and everything. So it's a nice little corner nook that I enjoy, and it has my recliner there. Now, I caught myself, I think it was 2 weeks ago, right after I was sick, I caught myself enjoying that chair just a little bit too much, right? To where I would read my books there, and I started, taking a couple more calls from that chair than I normally would. And I started doing more things in that chair. And I realized all of a sudden I was asking my daughter, do you mind getting me some water? Right? Because I'm enjoying the chair. So she gets up and goes and gets me water. And then, later on she'll say, my wife is like, hey, lunch is ready, whatever. And I'm like, do you mind if I eat it here? And she's like, okay, sure. So she brings it to my chair. And I realized a lot of stuff where I was doing less steps in general because I was like, enjoying the chair. And I realized in that 1 week, my productivity just plummeted. And guess what happens to me next to me? Because right next to me is a couch. And what is usually sitting on the couch? There's a remote. And what's in front of me is a TV. And when you put your legs up, and you're so comfortable, and you don't have a call going on right now, and if you're not careful, what can happen to your eyes? They start to close, and you kind of lay back. And then before you know it, you're taking multiple cat naps. And I'm like, wait a minute. Am I a serious, real serial entrepreneur looking to change lives and scale globally and do big things? And I'm sitting here like being a lazy bum. Like, what is going on here, right? And and Katie called me out. Katie said, Jose, I don't know if you've noticed, but the last few days, a week, you've been awfully comfortable in this chair. And I'm like, you're so right. I was already thinking about it, right? I was thinking about it, but
Performing around you.
Yeah, it took me 5 days to come to that conclusion, right? Katie noticed it pretty quickly. She noticed it day one after a couple hours, right? But for me, it took me 5 days to realize how lazy I was getting. So we just have to be very careful of the environment that we're in, because we're going to either flourish or decay with the environment that we choose to be in.
Yeah. And I just want to add that as far as my morning routine, I don't necessarily work out in the morning as part of my routine, but I do work out during the day, and I love reading good books like this one from one of our other CLA members, Shiraz.
I got to tell you, Jose, it sounded like you were kidnapped by that comfy
Ooh,
chair.
where'd Sifa go?
Yep.
Yeah.
And whenever I got up, it's like, where are you going, man? Come back.
Have you? Listen, I don't really watch TV, but during the Super Bowl, there was a couple of commercials, and I thought they were hysterical. It was somebody running away from their bed, and there was another person running away from their comfy chair, and they were being chased by. They're like, no, and the chair's like, come back. And so what I'm going to say from that, and I thank you so much for sharing that, because you're showing your vulnerability that we all can easily fall into the comfort zone, right? And there is an actual chair across a chair, a business across from one of my businesses, and it's called Lazy Boy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Lazy Boy now, they don't just do the Lazy Boy chair; they have Lazy Boy sofas, so your whole family can get lazy with you, and it's not alone anymore. But the comfort zone kills productivity, like you said, Jose. It kills it so deeply, and we don't realize that it's happening. As the more comfortable we get, the less productive we get. So thank you for sharing that, because that is what we choose without realizing it, because we all want comfort, but comfort is going to kill that for us.
I gotta say this, and I want to hear from you guys too. But it's I can tell you, as soon as I leave my office, this is my home office, right? So I work from home. So I have a home office. My wife, for context, is a stay-at-home mom homeschooler, right? So she's home all day. The kids are home all day. It's like COVID all over again. We're like sardines in a can every single day, Monday through Sunday, right? So it's like that's how it is, right? My oldest son is in college, so that's neither here nor there. But I say that to say, as soon as I leave my office, if I don't report back to it within 30 minutes, productivity starts to crash. And I know this about myself because I have too many nooks in my house that are comfortable. There's too many cozy little nooks. One of them is the playpen area with my 1 year old. He'll like call me in and be like, dad, 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 dad. And he likes to play with trucks and stuff. So I'll go in there and it's so cozy and fluffy in there. And it's actually an octagon. It's designed like an octagon, like a UFC cage fighter, but it's a big playpen. It has even like a little boxing bag on it. It's pretty cool for like toddlers. So I go in there and I can hang out there for a couple hours if I'm not careful, right? My couch in my living room is so cozy, and there's a massive, big screen TV right in front of that. I go to my bedrooms. I want to change the scenery sometimes. I have another lazy boy. That's the chair that my wife breastfeeds our kids in, and she's just kind of lazy. It's so cozy. Oh my gosh, and it rocks so nicely. My bed, I can go in my bed and just kind of lay in my bed, and that's for sleeping. It's not for being productive, right? And I can give you example after example of all these cozy little spots. And my son is gone, so his room is empty. So I go in there and in his bed, and I'll put my feet up, and I'll kind of get some work done in there too. But I realize it's not the same level of work. So for me, I have to know my guardrails. I have to know how I behave. You have to know thyself, right? It's what is it, Confucius? You have to know thyself. So I know as soon as I leave my office, productivity starts to slowly diminish over time. So I have a schedule. That's why having a planner, folks, is so important. You have to have a planner, a structured process, and you have to track your time. So I know when it's game time, it's game time. I'm working from 9 until 4. That's time for calls. That's time for administrative stuff. That's showtime. Okay. But I know if I cannot be hanging around my house during those hours because I know what I'm capable of. And it's not a good thing.
Right.
I
Yeah.
got to tell you, I love the guardrail expression because have you ever gone bowling? Have you ever used the guardrails? So I've taken tons of kids bowling, right? I've done excursions where I take groups and so forth, and we go bowling. And there's some kids who are older, and they don't want the guardrails. And then the younger ones, they want the little dinosaur so they can put the ball on top, and we still have to put the guardrails. But what happens to the kids who don't pay attention, who just come in and they throw the ball without guardrails? What happens to that ball? Two things can
Gutter.
happen.
Gutter.
So the work goes into the gutter. Nothing gets accomplished. Once in a while, without the guardrails, we can hit something. And when we hit something, it triggers something truly dynamic inside of each one of us. It gives us a desire to repeat it. So we get less and less gutter balls until we become more proficient. And that's paying attention without the guardrails, because we do need guardrails when we're starting, right? Now, one time I ripped my bicep, but I was taking these people bowling, so I could not move my arm. So I said, look, I have a left arm. So I started bowling lefty, and I did get gutter balls. But had I stopped, I would never have been able to get as many strikes as I did with my left hand, because persistence is something that we all can choose, even when it's fail, 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 whoop, little success, a little success, a little success. And eventually, people didn't know I was not a lefty initially. Now they're thinking, oh, you bowl lefty. I'm like, yeah, I do. But now I can bowl with both hands. So look at that.
You're an ambidextrous bowler.
I am.
Yeah.
So,
and
you're
boy,
going to say some things on this topic. I would love to hear your thoughts on what we've been talking about there.
I'm sorry, you're speaking, man.
Jacqueline, and then Maria. So tell us, because I know you were going to say something, and then Sifu jumped in. So I want to hear your thoughts and what was on your mind earlier.
So what I wanted to share was, you're talking about the, obviously I love the whole, being in comfort, right? Because if we get too comfortable, right, we always have to be thinking, and we always have to, knowing where we want to go, right? And when we get too comfortable, we can't, right? Or we're not as productive. But the other thing that I wanted to share is sometimes, and I'm going to be the first to tell you, this is something that's happened to me this past week, and Sifu knows a little bit about this, that sometimes when you're not aligned with something, and you know that you do need to have a big challenge that's happening, sometimes for lack of a better word, you can't get out of your own way. And to me, that's actually something as a leader, we realize that we are in the process of changing, or that where we know that we need to make a change. So you might not be as productive because in your gut, there's something that's stopping you. And there is a process, I think, that you have to go through to realize what you need to do to make that transformation. You might not be super productive for a week or 2 weeks as you're going through this, or as you're realizing what needs to, what transformation needs to happen, or something that's, maybe there's something that's been weighing on you, and so until that weight can come off, and then you can start really getting really clear as to where you're going to go, then productivity can come back in, and you can reset. I always talk about MMA, like, MMA, we're measuring, monitoring, and adjusting. So where you're in this process, and
that's a different MMA. I was like, oh,
MMA, not this MMA. Measure, right? I'm not,
okay.
hook.
Yeah, me and Seafood perked up when you said that. We're like, oh.
No, but MMA, we're measuring, monitoring, and adjusting, right? And so when we are going through that, sometimes something may happen, and you realize, I need to make a change, I need to switch, and it's gonna, that stickiness, that pain, the feeling in your gut might slow you down and might stop you from being productive. Where you know what, I need to just watch TV for a little bit. I need to not be as productive because I'm not in the right flow or with the right clarity until you can get there. And I think we all, like, I know I go through it a few different times, and I realized that I had to make a shift in something. But once you make that change and you realize where you want to go, and you get re-energized, and you're like, oh, now I'm going to become unstoppable again. It's like that. It's the highs and lows, right? The ebbs and flows, whether you want to call it the roller coaster ride. It all happens, and it's okay. But to recognize it and know that there's something great happening on the other side.
Love it. So peaks and valleys and all the things you said, I absolutely love it. 100% agree. I have a thought and actually, no, first, before I go into my thought, Maria, let's hear your thoughts on what we're talking about.
Well, I'm loving the conversation about guardrails and comfort. And I feel like I'm taking this conversation in more from like a learner or a viewer standpoint because I haven't been in business that long. So I'm still way behind you guys. And I really appreciate it because I understand. For example, I work at home. So it's very easy for me to get up and start. Oh, I think I'm hungry. Or whatever it is. Maybe I need a nap. I don't know. And understanding that set your guardrails. That's really gonna help you with productivity, having those basically guardrails, those boundaries.
Yeah, 100%. So my thought, that's kind of an interesting thought. I think it's we tend to look at transformation as new things that we have to do, right? Like, I need to add this to my plate. I need to start doing this instead of doing that. Sometimes transformation is a process of elimination,
Mm-hmm.
right? Sometimes it's, what do I need to remove and cut out and just take out from the roots so it doesn't continue to grow roots, right? Because once the roots are cemented, it's hard to get rid of the roots because it'll keep coming back like weeds. All right. So sometimes transformation is about elimination, not so much adding, addition, right? So the question is, what do I need to cut out? You don't need 5, 7, 10 new high-level disciplinary things you're going to do to yourself moving forward, right? You just maybe need to stop like 2, maybe 1, maybe 3 that are like patterns that are destructive to your productivity. What could that be? I'll give you an example. I'm going to give you a real example because I'm being very vulnerable in this call because that's vulnerability is required in order for us to grow, right? I am a social drinker. I don't just drink here in my house and I have like beer in my fridge. I just kind of like, at night just put feet up. And so that's not my style. I'm more of a social drinker. So when I'm out with people, I enjoy having a couple cocktails or a couple beers, whatever the case is, right? So, but I know that self again. So I know me. I know a destructive behavior that I could have, a destructive habit that I could have if I'm not careful, is during the week going to the bar. Because what I have found is after I have a few drinks, I usually don't have 1 or 2. I might have a little bit more than that. See if we can tell you. What I have found is that I am less productive the following day with my schedule. I just tend to be less productive and I feel heavier and I feel lazier and I feel like, oh man, that's sometimes not a real hangover, just like I'm not as motivated, right? So I have found that Monday through Thursday, maybe Friday on occasion after like a heavy business week, not every Friday, but every now and then, right? But Monday through Thursday for sure, I should not be going to the bar. I should not be going to the bar because like for me, it's not what am I going to add to my plate? How can I be more disciplined with something extra? Maybe it's just cutting out that going to the bar during the week, right? That's going to be.
And seafood drinks from a beer glass. No, just kidding.
Say that again.
He's drinking from a beer mug.
But it was water.
Well, look at this. This is what I have here, but this is coffee and water. So,
I like Mike.
But yeah, so that's really what it comes down to, is asking yourself the hard questions. Like, what is a particular habit that I have right now that's costing me momentum in my business? That's costing me a closer relationship to my spouse. That's costing me that leadership that I need with my children. What is it that I need to remove from my life, not so much add to your life? Maybe both.
Let me share before we all get into it. Let me share one of the 3 things we're gonna share today. Take a look.
You followed the rules, tried the restrictions, counted the carbs, the steps, and the failures. You're not lazy, you're exhausted from doing it all without real change. What if the problem isn't you? but the plan. Sifu's Mind Body Method is a 90-day transformation built on 7 unshakable pillars: mindset, movement, nutrition, hydration, fasting, journaling, and faith. This isn't another shortcut. It's your structure, your strength, your reset. You don't need harder, you need better. Ready to begin? Start today.
Jacqueline went skiing again. So, with what you said, Jose, it's about implementation in your life that's going to dictate your outcomes, if you will, right? Because if you're not going out drinking Monday through Thursday, maybe on a Friday you will go out with friends, or somebody comes into town and you're going to go meet with them, and maybe you'll have a cocktail or whatnot. But it's not an everyday thing. And so you choose that leadership style. You're leading yourself, you're transforming your life, because the productivity is going to help you achieve the goals that you've set for yourself, right? And I know you, Jose, you put goals in front of you that are even unachievable, but the reason you put them there is because that's where the struggle is. That if you get comfortable, you'll never even go close to them. But it's being uncomfortable that's going to get you as close as you possibly can to the incredible dreams that you have put in front of you.
Well, I appreciate that, and yes, you're 100% correct, right? I think we have to have big dreams and lofty goals, those big, hairy, audacious goals, as they call it, right? We have to have that, and sometimes we'll fall short, but it's as long as you're not falling short all the time, right? Because there's a difference between being a goal setter and a goal hitter. You want to be a goal hitter, but you also want to have those stretch goals that are going to stretch you to be somebody that you need to be in order to achieve better results in life, right? So that's super, super important. People try, and this happens all the time, people try to keep the same lifestyle, but get new outcomes. Oh my gosh, can I say that one more time? People always keep the same lifestyle, but they want new outcomes. That does not work. I mean, that does not work. You can't just keep doing the same old thing and expect a different result, right? Insanity. We all know that, right? So that's really what it comes down to. You can keep your comfort or your calling, not both.
It's as if you're knocking on the door and nobody opens, but you stay there for hours hoping somebody will when nobody's home. Maybe you got to leave and maybe make a phone call and find out. I think Jacqueline is telling me that, I don't know if that's her texting, but yeah, StreamYard kicked her out, can't get back in, she's trying. So we know her, she's a winner, she'll get here somehow. So thinking about Maria, you have, and I don't want, look who's back. I don't want you to consider, you're back. I don't want you to consider the fact that, hey, I'm new in business. I don't know as much as you guys. Don't count yourself out, because getting into your own business, working out of your home is not an easy challenge for anyone, right? I too choose to work anywhere I want. I can go into one of my businesses and work there. I can do it out of my home. I can do it out of a hotel room. I can do it out of anywhere, right? Certain businesses require me to physically be there. For example, when I'm teaching Kung Fu, I need to physically be there. During COVID, I taught Kung Fu across the US because people sought me out because my Zoom classes were not typical. They weren't just punch, kick. They were entertaining. So I would bring Elmo in there, and Elmo would do martial arts, and I would do all kinds of fun things, and I would do different martial arts from all over the world. And everybody who was in my audience, I had a particular family from Arizona in the West Coast who used to come in all the time, and they kept saying, "Can you please open a school when COVID is over? Can you please open a school here in Arizona?" And so eventually I'm going to tell him yes. Right? That's going to happen.
How
But
about Maryland? Maryland.
Maryland, yeah, Maryland. Um, think about the impact that you're making. And so you're doing great things, Maria, and I'm very proud to call you my friend. And don't ever stop. You've overcome so much that some people don't even know your story, and your story is a remarkable one. So thank you for being here with us and sharing you with us, because you're a giant as well.
Amen to that.
I don't think I like small people, by the way, just so you know.
I appreciate that.
And the small people, I build them up so they're no longer small. So it's all good.
Thanks.
Well, keep in mind, remember, folks, small is a state of mind, right? You're as small as you think you are, and you're as big as you think you are. How you show up in here is how you show up out there.
That's right. With that in mind, take a look at this.
Hi, my name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. We're a growing tribe, a community of entrepreneurs all over the world, globally, all across the country, high performers, titans of industry. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more clients, more money, more profit, the bottom line, and of course, grow your circle and your network like never before, this is where you want to be. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. We are scaling massively. We want to welcome you in. Check me out on Instagram and on Facebook, the @ JAESCO25. We look forward to having you join us. Take care.
And we're all Connected Leaders Academy here, every one of us. And it's a great place to be. So if you need to be in it, reach out to Jose. It's that simple, right, Jose?
You're muted.
Oh, you're muted. You're muted. It's coming. He said, look at the bottom.
Testing.
Now
There we go.
Now you're good.
For some reason, whenever you play videos, it lags on me and it keeps it muted. So anyway, I love being around winners. I mean, Maria, Jacqueline, Sifu. I mean, you guys are winners in my book, and everybody wins from a different place in their own way, with their own unique experience and expertise and background, and that's what I love being around, because you and me, right? And it's a two-way street. That's what life is about, is positioning yourself to win by getting around the right people. And I love being on this platform with all of you. So thank you.
So that's what leaders do. They choose transformation by being in the right rooms, by connecting with the right people, because transformation is great, but if someone else can guide you or help you, this is why I believe in coaching so strongly, because the best athletes all over the world, the Olympics are going on right now, right? None of them could do it by themselves. They needed someone to say, turn left, move your arm, do this, do that. Every little aspect of why they're a champion. Now, don't get me wrong. Who's up on the podium? Their coach? No. But the coach's efforts are on the podium, because that person could never have won the gold, the bronze, or the silver without their coach. It would not be possible. Same thing goes for any athlete out there. Look how many coaches are in football, hockey. There's tons of them. Why? Because we need someone in our corner to help with our transformation. Even the most losing team in any sport has coaches. Now, a coach can help a losing team turn around. So the question is, are you transforming your life? And are you doing it alone?
Good point, Sifu. I'm
Yes.
getting goosebumps listening to this kind of talk. I love this kind of conversation. It's just very enlightening and refreshing.
We never go it alone, right? We should, there's so many people that help us along the way, whether you realize it or not. And hopefully you do realize it, because, none of us got where we are on our own. There's always been people in our corner to help us get there. And we always will continue to, it's great to have people that you can count on, that you can rely on, that will say to you, okay, you know what, this is a good thing that you could do, or let's try something else. Or if you want to get that personal best, to hit that PR, what do you need to do to make that happen? Whether you're an athlete or you're in your business, you've got somebody in there that's going to help you hit that PR.
With that in mind, I think I have to play our last video, so take a look.
The city never sleeps, and neither do the dreamers who build its pulse. From every corner of the globe they come. Visionaries, creators, leaders, each carrying a spark ready to ignite the world. This is not an event, it's a revolution of rhythm and reason. A symphony of minds, a movement of momentum. Sifu Rafael, Lancelot, Jose Escobar. Together they set the stage for brilliance. This is the NYC experience. Mastermind, light up the city. They coming from the east, coming from the west. Knowledge on deck, put the truth to the test. Leaders in motion, hearts in sync, dropping wisdom so deep it'll make you think. They bring stories, sweat and flame, different faces, one shared name. Elevation, that's the sound. NYC experience, mastermind, where purpose is found.
Oh, yeah, and that is Leadership 101 right there. Get in the room with us. Let's make something happen.
It's going to be
By
great.
the way, Jose, you're going to meet Marco in person next week. It's, by the way, today's his birthday. Marco's my son. He's turning 25 today. And the kid is just amazing, right? And Jacqueline, you'll get to meet him too. Maria, one day you will get to meet him as well.
That is exciting. I cannot wait to meet Marco. I'm a fan of Marco. I follow his content, all the bodybuilding stuff he has going on. And as they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So I'm assuming he's going to be just as amazing as you are, Sifu. So I'm going to end on my side with a final thought, and then you guys can go for it, because I have a hard stop at 2. I have a call right exactly at 2 o'clock. I got to run. But my final thought for the day here on this amazing Heroes Rising platform with all of you is quite simple. All right, because I'm a simple guy. Keep in mind that the cost of staying the same is going to accumulate. It's going to compound. It's going to add up way faster than the cost of actually changing in terms of transformation. Okay, staying the same is going to sting way more than it is going to be to implement or remove certain things in your life that are required in order for you to get to the next level. It's not about who you're inspired to be, right? Because we're all inspired to be epic things, right? It's who you decide to become. It's who you decide to become. Not who you're inspired to be, it's who you decide to become. And guess what? You know what the good news is? The catch is you're sitting on it. The good news is you have the ability right now to become that person you choose to be in this life. The true transformational leader that's going to impact the world. So be who you're destined to be. Live your life by design. Go get it. It is up to you. And that's the good news.
I got to say, if you looked up this particular word in the dictionary, the meaning is doing the same thing over and over and expecting change. What is that? Insanity, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Jacqueline. Go ahead, Maria.
I was just going to say that I feel like this has been a masterclass. So I appreciate all of your thoughts. I learned a lot. I learned a lot. Thank you.
Why you're here. So did we. We did. Listen, it doesn't matter. We all learn. This is why we sit around with people who are going to inspire us for growth every day. Choose the right people to be with, right?
Right. Choose the right room,
Hmm. Like Tampa next week.
like Tampa.
That's right. What a segue. I'm just kidding.
Yes. So Maria, I know that Jose has to leave, but you can go ahead and tell us why somebody needs to go to your website.
If anyone wants to, and I hate using the word transformation because I feel like it's overutilized, and it kind of is, but this is if you want to change your life from the inside out, you can read all about my story. There are a bunch of success stories, and I guide people mainly on nutrition. And it's incredible the change that we can harbor with that alone. I feel healthier now than I did in my 20s. And that's saying a lot, right? But yes, I would just urge you, if this sounds remotely interesting, go to visit my website, see what you think, and I'd love to hear from you.
And you should definitely connect with Maria. Everybody. She's incredible. Jacqueline, you're up, my dude.
So go to my website. If you are feeling like you are ready to take that leap, or you are about to, you want to get more done, you want to have more clarity, more confidence, you want to build relationship capital so that you can increase your revenue and impact, go to my website and make sure that you're connecting with me so that I can help you leap to your greatest success.
Love it. Make sure you connect with Jacqueline. She is just phenomenal. And as I tell the kids, an animal, right? The kids are like, what? I said, phenomenal. She is phenomenal. I'm C4 Raphael, and I'm pretty easy to find, c4raphael.com. And I am the architect, if you will, and the founder of, are you ready? Transformational Experiences. Because your journey doesn't stop with one day. You have to continue. So the journey is continual. Keep going, people. Reach out to any one of us, and I'm sure you will be delighted by what you find at our websites. Thank you, everybody. God bless. Have an exceptional rest of your day, and we will see you soon. Make sure you share this show with somebody, because somebody needed to hear what we spoke about today. Take care.
Take care.